Been cooking since I was 9 years old. I'm the oldest of 13. At that time when I was 9, of course there wasn't 13 of us then, but just been cooking since I was 9. I always had a desire. It was the one thing that came easy, especially growing up in um, adverse situations or hardship, trauma, situations like that. The cooking just came easy.
Life that I'm living. Sit back, chillin', start a multi-business with the focus, making millions. It's the stuff that dreams are made of, and no hate. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk Business. I have the wonderful privilege of being able to speak with a local business owner here in the South Bend area. And she has a for-profit as well as non-profit organization that she is doing some great things in the community. You may know her, you may not, but if you haven't, you'll learn her today. And who am I talking about? Today I'm talking about Miss LaQuisha Jackson. How you doing, LaQuisha?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule, because I know you got a lot going on.
A lot.
Yeah, but thank you again for coming and talking with us about your journey. So what I wanted to begin the conversation with, first and foremost, are you originally from the South Bend area?
Born and raised.
Okay. So what schools did you go to growing up?
I went to Measles School, Clay Middle, Clay High. Then I went to LaSalle for a little while. Then after that, I transitioned to a different school because I became pregnant as a teen. So I went to a school called SAMP, School Age Mom Program. So yeah, that's where I went.
Okay. Well, interestingly, despite that, you continued on to get your education.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you go to college here as well?
Yes.
What school did you go to?
Ivy Tech Community College.
Okay. What did you take up there?
I got my degree in hospitality administration and a certificate in culinary arts.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. So what made you decide that that's what you wanted to focus on? What was your inspiration?
My grandmother. My grandmother's my biggest inspiration. First God, let me say that, then my grandmother. Been cooking since I was 9 years old. I'm the oldest of 13. At that time when I was 9, of course there wasn't 13 of us then, but just been cooking since I was 9. I always had a desire. It was the one thing that came easy, especially growing up in adverse situations or hardship, trauma, situations like that. The cooking just came easy. The books, no, but the cooking, yes.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I appreciate you mentioning your grandmother. Would you say that she was a mentor for you?
She was. At that time, I didn't know what a mentor was, but absolutely. She was my mentor. She was my mother at the time. She was someone that I looked up to, someone that I loved unconditionally, someone that inspired me.
Well, we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the mentorship that you had began at home.
Yes.
Okay. So was there any outside mentors that came later?
Later in life, I think, my pastors, I had first ladies in my life that I really looked up to. I always looked up to powerful women. I'm not one that gets easily inspired by the mediocre or the norm. I'm always inspired by women who are women of God, who are women of integrity, that are building something. That's my thing.
Okay.
Got to be strong.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. So thinking about your educational journey, when you were going to school, did you go to school at Ivy Tech with the intentions of learning this in culinary to become a business owner, or were you thinking more so of, I'm going to get this certification, these credentials to get a job? Where was your mindset?
To get a job.
Okay.
I believe to get a job. I just knew that I needed to go to school. When I first applied, I applied for business administration. I'm like, that ain't me. They said, well, we have a hospitality. I said, that's it, hospitality. At that time, I had just joined the hospitality team in my church, and I realized this is what I love to do. So just getting a job. I had no idea that I was going to be doing what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So at what point did it transition from a job to saying, I'm going to use what I've learned and this God-given ability that I've been mentored with in the home to cook? When did it transition to, I'm going to be a business owner?
I had a dream about it first.
Okay.
I'm a dreamer. So I had the dream, and then it was confirmed through a prophecy. And then from there, I just knew. But I was working a job as a manager. I worked a job in the kitchen for about 16 years at a retirement home. So I learned a lot of different things, how to modify recipes, how to feed elderly people who are more so high risk of foodborne illnesses and things like that. So I learned a lot there, but I was working that job as a manager. I lost that job, and I said, I gave this job 16 years of my life. I'm done. I said, and that's when I heard the Lord say, I want you to look up how to start a business, and that's how that happened. And since then, I've just been on the go. I joined the Spark program. When I joined the Spark program, I said, I'm here because I want a restaurant. During that time, I was working on my business plan, and my church said, we need somebody to do a catering. We need somebody to cook breakfast. I said, I'll do it. Did that catering and fell in love with it.
Okay.
So never went back to a restaurant.
Okay. So it took that loss of a job for you to say, I'm going to go ahead and start my own business.
I knew I was supposed to start it, but I wouldn't leave the job. Sometimes when we get fired, it's really for us to elevate. Sometimes rejection is your protection.
Interesting. I like that. So now as we're talking about these programs that you took advantage of to get your business going, was that program one that helped you with that business plan? And
Yes.
okay. And what was it called again?
Spark.
Spark. Okay. Okay.
Through St. Mary's College.
St.
For
Mary's
women.
College for women. Okay, good. So everything that you've learned over that period of time, how long was that program? And was it during the time that you were in that program you initiated things right away, or did you wait till after the program and you started to execute?
I believe I graduated from the Spark program in November, and by January 2018, I was doing tutorials. So I started doing how-to videos, and that really gravitated people to my page. Then I started catering for friends and family for like very little money, just to build content and to show my skills and just make this, show displays and things like that.
Okay. So you used the ability to market your services out. How did you achieve that? Was that somebody that you knew, or you yourself took that upon yourself to produce that? How did that work?
Well, it was friends, their niece would graduate, or my friends' kids would graduate, and they would ask me to do the catering, and I would do it. So it just came easy. It was already a gift on the inside of me that I know was there. So I just started catering.
Nice. So was the execution in alignment with your business plan?
Yes, because I pivoted. So the business plan was originally for a restaurant. But after I did the catering for my church, I went back to the Spark program, and I'm like, we need to shift this. I really want to do catering. So we changed the business plan to catering.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, on this show, I know we talk about this a lot, the business plan, how that's the blueprint that needs to be followed as you execute your plan for your business. When it came to the legalization aspect of your company, when it took time to figure out a name and registration and things of that sort, was it that Spark program that showed you the way, or how did you go about learning to do
Spark and leveraging, we helped one another. Somebody in the Spark program actually designed my logo. Somebody in the Spark program actually made my business cards. So we were like pulling on one another. So someone helped me create my articles of incorporation and all that with the state.
Okay. So it's good to know people that know things,
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. So with that being said, would you consider your interactions with these individuals almost in the same light as networking?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know that was networking at the time, though.
Okay.
A lot of times when you don't know business, you don't know what you do things, but you don't know what it's called. You have to grow into it. So a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to make steps because they think they have to know everything at one time. But you got to grow into it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. And you know what? That's a true statement that you make, because you're absolutely right. A lot of entrepreneurs think they have to know everything about their business when they're in the reality. Some things you're going to learn along that way.
Exactly.
And so that's a good point that you make. So when you think about from your start point to where you are today, how do you evaluate the success of your business?
How do I evaluate it? I look at the forecast of where I started and where I am today and how much I've accomplished. I went into the business thinking I'm just going to be a caterer, not knowing that I would be a woman of influence. So I said, I'm going to cater. Now what are you going to do? I'm going to get my ServSafe certification, proctor, and facilitator certification, so I can teach people how to get their ServSafe. And then what are you going to do from there? You're going to do food webinars, and then what are you going to do from there? You're going to do cooking classes, and then what are you going to do from there? So, over time, when you look at the forecast, there's a lot of growth. So I guess when you evaluate it, you can just look at the blueprint or the growth of it. It's grown. It's 5-star, I guess.
Okay,
I guess.
okay, good stuff, good stuff. Because I know in some places I've seen you in action.
Okay.
And I see that you take it very serious what you do.
Yes.
And that's a great thing because it's a reflection of the services that your company provides.
Yes.
So good job to that.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. You know, it's funny you mention that because sometimes we talk about how people have multiple business plans because the business, like you mentioned, it grows and it changes that business plan. You can have multiple business plans because of new information that you have now accumulated during that journey.
Yeah.
Now you get to incorporate that into your business plan. That business plan seems to be the main thing with any and all businesses. I know we talk about a lot on this show. It's just we can't emphasize enough the importance of getting that business plan started and going and being open to the idea that it may be changing as the opportunity grows in the company.
Yes, it's a living document.
Nice.
It
nice.
never dies.
Yeah, okay, good stuff, good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been in business?
Oh my goodness. Since 2018, really. Solidified everything in 2018.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what is the name of your business?
Soulful Kitchen.
Soulful Kitchen.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Not soul food. Soulful.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to, you mentioned how you marketed your business and so forth. What do you find to be the greatest challenge of your industry when it comes to that?
I think the greatest challenge for me was, honestly, I had a lot of challenges, but everything worked out for my good. So I didn't have, I didn't have human capital, I didn't have money, I didn't have capital, I didn't have anything. My husband helped me, my children helped me. So it just all worked. It was so much favor that I can't speak for other foodies, but I will say that I would say money and resources. But the resources are there, but if you can understand it and get somebody to really help you understand what's happening in those settings, in those classrooms, in those entrepreneur classes, you can grow and get to where you need to be. But money is always a challenge.
And I appreciate you saying that because I hear the expenses of food, they're very high. And I don't know the exact challenges that you face in the industry, but it seems like that might be one of the big things, food costs, so to speak. How do you work around that?
I'm all about people paying a deposit first and foremost. So I think it's important if you don't have, a line of credit for your business and someone reaches out to you and say, hey, we need you to do a catering for us next week. Are you available? You have to drop a deposit so that if you don't have that line of credit, then you can take that deposit money and get what you need for the food or whatever you need and then go from there. It's always important to have people pay a deposit.
Yeah. Now, was that a technique that you learned as you went through the journey, or is that something that you came into it knowing that you needed to do that?
I think I learned during the journey.
During the journey. Okay. So having a deposit helps secure the situation, of course.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Now, contracts.
Yes.
How does that work for you? How did you learn the importance of the contracts, the legalities of those? How do you manage
Just
that?
help. A Notre Dame Law student helps us out a lot. They have a lot of free services, and so they, helped us with a lot of different things. They're even helping me with my onboarding and things like that as we're getting ready to hire and things like that. So I think just, like I said, pulling on your resources. But sometimes people don't know what the resources are. And so you got to ask questions. And that's all I can say. You got to ask questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And that's a good point. If you don't ask, you won't know, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Ask and you shall receive.
There you go. Appreciate that. So it's interesting, as I heard you say, because we had another entrepreneur on the show, that similar industry, who made that similar statement that you had at the initial outset. You had family to help you.
Yeah.
But now you've grown to the point that you are actually hiring individuals? Is that what I
We're
heard?
getting to that point. Yes, absolutely. We're expanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, I love the fact that you said the resources were so important because it goes back to what you said earlier. You don't know everything, but if you ask the right questions, connect with the right people, and networking, it can help align and structure your business.
Absolutely.
Now, your company is an LLC.
Yes.
Now, in the state of Indiana, I bring this up a lot of times. How do you know if you were going to go into it with a partnership or if you were going to be solo? Because I think from what I saw, they have LLC individual and they have LLC partnership. Which is yours?
I'm an LLC individual.
Okay.
I don't want to share anything right now.
Okay.
That's the whole purpose of me really starting this business, to have ownership, shareholders and things like that. I'm good right now on all of that. I'm still building and I like, when you come from not having anything, you want to have something. And I'm grateful that I don't have to have any partnerships and it's growing the way that it's growing and it's getting the exposure that it's getting because, yeah, I don't want everybody's hands in my stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
No.
I totally understand. It's important to be able to call the shots.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'm glad we're talking about that because we were talking a little bit earlier before we started the show about being a family person.
Yeah.
You're a wife.
Yes.
You're a mother.
Yes.
How do you balance the situation from when you was your initial outset to the business? You mentioned you became a mother relatively early.
Yeah.
How did you balance it out?
As far as entrepreneurship or just in general?
Just being a mother, a parent, and
Starting my business?
Starting the business process.
Well, family support. My husband, shout out to all the single women who are starting a business and they don't have a husband to help them. They have to have kids, they have their children, they're trying to balance work. Because I still worked for a little bit of time. My husband worked. And then, we had our kids. We got older children that help with our younger children. So I was fortunate that when I started the businesses, I had teenagers that were able to kind of help with the younger kids. So they were kind of independent in a sense, and it just helped. But you do have that mommy guilt when it takes up a lot of your time. We have 10-year-old twins who really, seek for my attention a lot. And so I have, older children who kind of fill in the gaps for me at times because I have so much to do. But, it's all about supporting. You got to support each other in the house. I think that's so important. So, for example, if I have a catering coming up, but the house needs to be clean, somebody clean it. I don't have time to clean it. In fact, I really shouldn't have to clean it. I got some adults, kids still at home. But it just things like that. So, yeah.
I appreciate that because here's the reason I asked you that question. I don't know what your long-term plan is for your entities. Do you plan on the family participating as far as taking on ownership later in life, something to pass on to your children? Is that the goal?
I believe I think my twin daughter will take it over. She wants to be a chef.
Okay.
So she's already doing creative things I never even thought of at the age of 10. So I think that she may want it, and if so, she can have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful thing because anytime we can inspire our children who have a talent and skill and prepare them along the way. Yeah. We see other cultures, they've been doing that for a long time, but in the particular African American Black communities, that's been a issue somewhat. Yeah. As far as having the ability to have something established and then pass it on. Yeah. But then there's the statistics that say by the third generation, that generation in your family tends to mess up your business. Yeah. And that's something that, as parents, how do you foresee something like that not happening? What do you think?
I don't know. I think just, showing my kids the value and importance of ownership and having something, I think is important. Conversation, talking. I really don't have that answer as of yet. But I think, my 10-year-old twin daughter, she's a strong little girl and she don't play. And I think, if it's passed down to her, and when it's her time to pass it down, I'm sure that she's going to choose wisely on who to pass it down to. If not, sell it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So now let's talk a little bit about having a nonprofit organization in addition to having a for-profit organization. And that must be a tremendous amount of work. What have you noticed that's the biggest difference between the two?
Making money and not making money. No, I don't mean that. In a sense, I do. But, Hope for the Hungry is a non-for-profit. So we hope to get donations to do the things that we need to do. But we haven't really, and we've been thriving without it. Soulful Kitchen has definitely taken care of Hope for the Hungry, and then Hope for the Hungry is kind of building some traction within itself. We're grateful that all of our connections really don't require us to need a whole lot of money as of yet, but we are growing, and some of the programs that we're getting ready to launch, we're going to need money. But overall, I love them both. I love to cook and I love to serve. I love to cook and I love to give. I love it all. So I don't know. I just love it.
Okay.
I love to give.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
so.
something that's part of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. When it came to the structuring of the, you called it Hope for the Hungry, that's what it's called. Now, the difference between that and the for-profit organization, first of all, let me just ask this question.
Yeah.
What exactly does your nonprofit organization do? It says Hope for the Hungry, so I imagine it has something to do with feeding people. So
Yes, we combat poverty and build self-sufficiency. We are 501c3, and so basically a non-for-profit, of course. And so we have a lot of different programs. We have a pop-up pantry program where we go out into the community and we serve urban communities, I guess they would say. We also have a food pantry in-house where people come to us and shop. It's a shopping experience. We plan to have some other things going on. Right now, we're getting ready to launch our Getting Ahead program with Bridges Out of Poverty to educate people on how to navigate themselves out of poverty. So, I mean, there's so many different things. And then even with Soulful Kitchen, we're getting ready to launch our culinary school. I'm hoping by January or before. I have a meeting after this, actually.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a ministry. Everything is a ministry.
Service, yeah.
Every single thing is a ministry. I've had some terrible experiences in my journey of entrepreneurship, and in some senses, in a classroom setting. So I've learned what to do and I've learned what not to do, and I've learned to take all that I know and to help other people come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me kind of pull a little bit from your statement you just asked there.
Okay, don't pull too hard.
Well, not too hard, but
Okay.
you said you've had some experiences.
Yeah.
Here's a simple question for you. What was the motivation to keep going when you faced those things?
I was given an assignment. I have an assignment. The Lord gave me an assignment.
Okay.
So it ain't about how I feel. It's about what I committed to do. So I roll with the punches. Jesus was persecuted. Come with the territory. And I realize that I'm wrestling not against flesh and blood. I'm learning that more and more as I continue to walk through this life. That it's not even them. It's not even them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we talking about it, because I see you're a very spiritual-minded person.
Absolutely.
And that's great when it comes to this. Now, you're connecting a lot of it to your physical and your finances
Yes.
and economic with your business structure.
Yes.
And it's just so important that the audience understands that journey,
Yeah.
because it is different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
And with that, what are some of the things that you would encourage a person who mindset is, I want to get into the catering business? What would you encourage them as they go through their journey?
I would encourage them to know that they don't have to be like anybody else but themselves. That they don't have to cook any other cuisine but what they want to cook. That their gift will make room for them. I would encourage them to be authentic and to understand that you don't have to know it all up front. And in fact, you would probably never ever know it all, but just be you and be great and being you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful. So now I'm about to hit your product.
Okay.
What do you cook?
I specialize in gourmet Southern cuisine. Been cooking all my life. And I had a vision. I had a vision that this cuisine needs to be on big tables. I say that, if I can be transparent, because a lot of times, my people deem our cuisine as cheap. They deem it as unhealthy, and they deem it as sloppy, and that's not the case. And so I'm an advocate for Southern cuisine being expensive. It should be, because we got French cuisine that is, we got Italian cuisine that is, we got all other kind of cuisines. When you go through culinary, they teach in French cuisine. What about my cuisine? So.
Okay, well, I love that.
Yes, sir.
You're bringing it to the major market.
Yes,
huh?
sir.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So why don't you do me a favor real quick, Dan?
Yes.
I love this conversation. We hope nothing but ongoing success for you as you continue your journey.
Thank you.
If we can be of any support in any other ways, you let us know.
Okay.
And just for a moment, I want you to look in that camera and you tell them how can they, this one right here, tell them how can they get in contact with you and get some of your services.
Yes. So to contact me, you can get on our website, soulfulkitchensb.com, and shoot me an email, LaQuisha@soulfulkitchensb.com.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for bringing that up.
Thank you.
So let me ask you one final question. What's the future for both of your organizations?
Oh my goodness, international. Serving out of the country, growing where we're planted, but growing here and then expanding out. Television, Food Network, international.
No limit.
No limit.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Jackson. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yes.
And for everybody, we want to thank you for taking this time out to join us again for another episode of Let's Talk Business. We encourage all entrepreneurs, if you are serious about your business, come on over to the show so we can have a conversation with you as well. So you too can encourage and inspire up-and-coming entrepreneurs and business owners. You all have a wonderful day.